The concerns surrounding Gilas Pilipinas heading into the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. The quest to regain glory in Asian basketball for Gilas Pilipinas commences August 6 to 19 in the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup, to be held in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. They'll be looking to bounce back from a disappointing ninth-place finish in 2022, the country's worst showing in the tournament since 2007. This time, there are both encouraging signs and causes for concern. Gilas started strong in the Asia Cup qualifiers, going undefeated in their first 4 games. That run included a historic first win over New Zealand in a FIBA-sanctioned tournament and an average winning margin of 31.5 points, a clear statement of dominance. However, momentum shifted when Kai Sato suffered an injury, and the team dropped its last 2 games to finish the qualifiers with a 4-2 record. So it's only right to take a closer look at the key concerns facing Gilas as they head into the Asia Cup and how well the team can adapt under pressure in a stacked Asian field. Lack of primary ball handlers. One of the most glaring issues in the current Gilas Pilipinas pool is the absence of a true floor general. Scotty Thompson has been the main point guard, not just because of his experience, but also his familiarity with Tim Cone's triangle offense. This playmaking was evident during the Asia Cup qualifiers, where he averaged 6.2 assists per game, best on the team and 5th overall across all windows. As a whole, the Philippines ranked 2nd in team assists with 24.3 per game, highlighting how ball movement remained a central theme in their offensive flow. However, cracks started to show late in the qualifying window and during their recent tune-up game. Without multiple natural ball handlers on the roster, Gilas has become increasingly vulnerable to defensive pressure. They committed 17 turnovers in the loss to Chinese Taipei and 19 more against the Macau Black Bears in their lone exhibition game, an unusual trend for a squad that had previously averaged just 10.5 turnovers per game, the second-best mark in the qualifiers. Now, it's up to Chris Newsom, the de facto backup point guard, and even combo guard Dwight Ramos to share the burden of initiating offense. While both are capable playmakers in spurts, they aren't traditional point guards, and that could spell trouble once Gilas faces aggressive, pressing teams in the Asia Cup. The hope is that collective ball movement and familiarity with Cone's system can mask the lack of a true court general, but as the competition level rises, so will the margin for error. Vulnerable defense from 3-point range. If there's one defensive trend Gilas can't afford to ignore heading into the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup, it's their struggles in guarding the 3-point line. In all 6 games during the qualifiers, Gilas allowed opponents to make at least 10 3-pointers per contest, a pattern that suggests more than just a few hot shooting nights. Opposing teams converted at a 35.3% clip from beyond the arc, which ranked as the 5th worst among all participating nations. It's not just the percentages, it's the manner in which these shots are being given up. Many of those makes came from slow rotations, poor screen navigation off movement, or misreads in switch-heavy schemes. Gilas has had difficulty closing out on shooters in time, particularly when defending ball reversals or pick-and-roll scenarios that lead to kick-out threes. Teams like New Zealand and Chinese Taipei exploited these defensive lapses by keeping the ball moving and forcing Gilas into constant recovery situations. The result? Open looks and momentum-shifting runs that were hard to counter. For a team that thrives on hustle and defensive energy, giving up too many clean looks from distance is an issue that undermines the very identity they're trying to build. The concern only grew louder in their lone exhibition game against the Macau Black Bears. The visitors torched Gilas for 13 of 27 shooting from 3-point range, good for a blistering 48.1%. While friendly games are usually more about experimentation than results, the lack of defensive urgency on the perimeter was alarming. Whether it was late contests, failed switches, or simply not respecting shooters, Gilas paid the price. If adjustments aren't made, whether it's through better communication, faster closeouts, or tighter defensive schemes, this could become the Achilles heel that derails their campaign. Who can become a reliable third option on offense? For all the system-oriented offense that coach brings to Gilas, every team still needs go-to players who can deliver when the play breaks down. While naturalized forward Justin Brownlee is the undisputed primary option, Dwight Ramos often serves as the secondary scorer and effective off-ball movement, and having no Kai Sato on the lineup, the question of who steps up as the consistent third scoring option remains unanswered. But let's go through viable candidates. Jumar Fajardo is still as formidable as ever in the post, and that alone makes him a viable third scoring option. Despite playing fewer minutes than in his PBA prime, the 8-time MVP remains a load to handle on the block, using his strength, footwork, and soft touch to punish single coverage. In the Asia Cup qualifiers, Fajardo averaged 10 points and 5.3 rebounds on an efficient 65.4% shooting clip from the field. And even if he's not the focal point of the offense in Gilas, he's still someone who can deliver in moments that team needs a bucket, especially in half-court sets where tempo slows down. Newsome also presents a strong case. Known for his discipline and poise under pressure, Newsome thrives in the mid-range, an area often left open in international play where defenses tend to sag off and focus on rim protection or chasing shooters off the line. His pull-up jumper from the elbow or short corner is one of his most reliable weapons, especially in late clock situations where Gilas needs someone to create something out of nothing. He had numbers of 8.2 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 2.7 assists on 59.6 DS%. In cone-structured offense, Newsome's shot selection and patience are assets, allowing him to pick his spots without disrupting the team's flow. Then there's Kevin Kuyambao, the youngest of the bunch, but perhaps the most dynamic with the ball in his hands. What makes Kuyambao's development even more intriguing is his transition to playing as a full-time small forward. With his vision, footwork, and ability to score at all three levels, Kuyambao isn't just a floor spacer or secondary option. He's evolving into a legitimate playmaking wing who can keep defenses honest and carry scoring stretches when needed. Expect Kuyambao's average of 8.3 points and 4 rebounds to be much better with higher usage in this Asia Cup.